So we're live. It is day 2, and it is a session with someone that I really, really love, and he knows. All right. So yes, we have another awesome dad in the building coming. All right. The next video you're going to see is Ebuka's profile. Please enjoy.
Ebuka, Ebuka, Ebuka Obika is a boys development coach and founder Save the Boys Initiative. He is into boys development and youth mentoring. He does this through mentoring, coaching, and training them in life, leadership, and purpose. Also by acting as a parent partner. He sees to the total development of boys and advocates for their well-being. He has certificates in emotional intelligence and organizational leadership. For over a decade, he has taught boys, teenagers, and youth in a unique, practical, and humorous way to learn personal responsibility and self-leadership. As a way of sharing feedback from his experience with the boys, he convenes the Boys Leadership Academy Total Men Online Summit on his community on Facebook called Men's Connect Mentoring Community. He runs mentoring clubs for boys and convenes the annual International Boys Conference as a platform to train boys and men on how to live positive and productive life. He received the National Volunteers Award in 2020 on his work for humanity. He is a speaker at youth conferences, seminars, schools, youth and parents platforms. He also offers consultancy services for individuals and families. His first book, The Journey into Manhood, is almost out and in print. He is happily married to Ruth, and their union of over 4 years is blessed with one biological daughter and many foster sons. Ladies and gentlemen, Ebuka Ede.
And yes, we have Ebuka. Okay, I love I'm set for this session. I know that Ebuka is bringing fire, but I will run a little bit more about what was said about Ebuka. Ebuka is also one of the men, one of the dads in the Inner Circle program. So if you're looking for a model, who is on the journey learning parenting in the TIB Academy, you have one. He's a boys coach, done so much with boys. He's someone that I have worked with. He's a brother, a mentee, whatever, everything, all right, in one. And I'm looking forward to this session today. And most importantly, the learnings, his journey, with the boys. Over to you, Chedozi. I'm out of the studio.
Ebuka boys, good to have you here, sir.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. So we've been looking forward to this session, and now that you are here, okay. Father-son order. The boy child is something you're very passionate about. Passion is, some people can talk about passion. When we see Ebuka, we see passion. Okay. So yes, I'm going to let you have the evening. Talk about father-son relationship. What is this all about, Ebuka?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here again this year. It was an amazing time last year, and I'm happy to be back. Thank you, Coach Wendy, my boss, my mentor, my coach. Thank you. And Chiedozie, I'm glad to see you on this platform. I've been following up with the program, and you've been doing an amazing work. Thank you. To all the fathers in the house, good evening and welcome. Wherever you're joining us from, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, you're welcome. And to the boys all over the world, wherever you are valued, you are valid, you are loved. We celebrate you. And we're here tonight because of the boys. Thank you. All right, like they said, I'll be speaking on fostering father-son relationship. Wow. When I saw that topic, I was excited because really that is an area I always love to talk about, fathers and sons. It has just been my desire to see that fathers and sons are connected. Anytime I see fathers and sons moving as friends, connected, talking, relating, I'm so excited. And it's because I'm seeing a boy who is going to grow up to be the kind of man we want to see. First of all, I want to appreciate fathers for their sacrifice. And for everybody that's spoken in the conference, I've followed a number of the session and it has been mind-blowing. So I don't want to start talking about what other people have said. I'll just say a few things tonight that I know will bless every one of us. Really, I'll say fathers. It's not really easy being a father. In this time and age, it's a lot of work and sacrifice. Despite the fact that we've not really seen a lot of men meet up to that responsibility, but we have a lot of men working. It's a lot of work and sacrifice. One of my wow moments in this program was hearing Pastor Osiri talk about fatherhood, and when he broke down in tears, in emotions, I said, wow, beautiful. I could relate. And for the fact that he did that, I just love that, to show you that men also have emotions and we can bust out when we need to. And for me, that was just the kind of man I really love to see, expressing how he feels, even when it will cost him to cry. Fathers are going through a lot, sacrificing to keep the home, to take care of children, to fend for the home. Is a lot of work. To secure the home is a lot, spiritually, physically. Thumbs up to all the fathers. Thank you. Nevertheless, there is more to do. And why do I say there's more to do? Basically because we will only be successful fathers when we've successfully raised responsible sons. Sons who can stand and say, I was raised by my father. I heard something in this conference that people will not ask who gave birth to that child. It's who raised that child. And that's why sometimes it's even people who do not give birth to a child that are being praised for how that child turned out. Because when a child does well, they don't even want to know who raised, who taught you, who mentored you. And a lot of applause is given to that person. Because for me, fatherhood is just beyond giving birth to a biological son. It's responsibility, nurturing, raising, modeling, and helping a boy realize purpose and fly in life in peace and in joy. And that brings fulfillment. So there's more to be done because we are losing our sons. Our sons are lacking role models. Our sons are asking, where is daddy? Where is my father? And that's why this discussion is critical for me, because if we don't raise our sons well, if we don't raise boys who will model responsibility, then no matter what we have given that child, we have failed in our responsibility. So our success is tied to how we are raising the next generation, because that is what will stand the test of time. Is that landmark, that legacy that will be sustained, and not just the money that you give. So until we build that legacy, then that's when we'll be talking about fatherhood, the ability to father, and that is critical for me. Why are we losing our boys? And that's what I'm asking tonight. Why are we losing our boys? What is happening? Because a lot of our boys don't understand what is going on with them. There's a lot of question in their hearts. There's a lot of doubt. There's a lot of fear, tension, worry because of what they're going through. And they're looking for people who will give answers to that question, but a lot of them are not finding answers. And that's what I want to tell fathers tonight. Boys are asking questions that have not been answered. Questions about their emotions, questions about their feeling, questions about their sexuality, questions about spirituality, questions about life. They can't understand why somebody who did not go to school, who decided to be useless in quotes, is making a lot of money on the internet, and you are telling him to go to school. He can't understand what is going on. Why somebody who is promiscuous on the internet is a celebrity, and you are telling him to keep the sexual purity. There's a lot going on in their mind that they can't find answers to. So we're losing our sons because there are trends, there are different things going on that they can't understand. And before I proceed, I even want to ask the fathers, how much do we know our sons? How much do we know what is going on in the mind of our sons? I'll ask some fathers. If this was a physical meeting, a Zoom meeting, I would have asked some fathers some questions. But I'll just ask like 7 or 10 questions. And I want you to score yourself and let me know, how many you've got. Fathers that are here, say, how much do you know your son? And I asked some fathers, do you know the name of the current teacher of your son? Do you know the name of the best lecturer of your son? Do you know your son's best friend? I asked fathers. Do you know the best moments of your son? Some fathers I even ask them, do you know the shoe size of your son? Do you even know the waist size of your son, the shirt size of your son? Do you know the down times of your son? Do you know the wow moments of your son? As fathers in this time and age, do you even know the celebrities they are following? Do you know what is called Molly? It's a trending, candy that is filled with drugs. Do you even know what is Cash App? There's a challenge going on. Fathers, I ask, do you even know what is Shedi Balabala challenge? There's a lot going on in the world of our boys that fathers can't understand. And I've asked like 5 or 6 questions. If there are fathers here who can, who know the answers to all those questions, maybe you scored 7. I've asked like 7 questions. If there's anybody that got the 7, you can put that in the chat room and say, yes, I scored 7. So do fathers even know what is going on with their son? And that's why we are talking about fostering relationship. Because first, you cannot deal with an issue you are not aware of. I always tell people you cannot fight a battle you are not aware of. You cannot solve a problem that has not first been identified as a problem. You cannot give a solution to a defined. So there's a lot of vacuum in the mind, in the heart of our boys, because they want to be led. They are looking for men they can look up to and ask questions. They're looking for men they can ask, why am I having excess erection? They're looking for men they can ask, why am I having wet dreams? They're looking for men they can ask, why am I having feelings for different girls? They're looking for men they can ask, why am I filled with so much energy? Is something wrong with me? Boys are asking questions that we've not given answers to. And because of that energy they have, because of that curiosity, because they want to explore and they are not seeing the right channel, because they are filled with so much energy and they are not seeing the right place to channel it, there's a vacuum in their hearts. A vacuum that they're looking for somebody that will fill. A vacuum, they're looking for that attention. A man, a masculine figure that will look at them and say, boy, this is what is going on with you, and I'm here to guide you. And because they can't find that, I always say, that is our street is filled with boys. That's how boys in the prisons, in the court, in fraudsters, we have boys in drugs. What is happening? They are seeking answers. They are seeking answers. Asking why they have so much strength and nobody's helping them utilize it. And the courtists are saying, come, we have things to help you utilize your strength. The armed robbers are saying, come, you can exercise your strength here. The drug addicts are saying, come, you can exercise your strength here. Because there's a vacuum that has been left at home and the streets is filling it up. That's why our prisons are filled with young men with promising future. That's our rehabilitation homes are filled with young men with bright destinies. And sometimes when I see them, I weep and I ask, why are you here? Why are we losing our sons? And that's what we're discussing tonight. How do we foster this relationship? And before I go deeply into that, I'll still spend a few minutes to just say some certain things. And we can see the impact of that vacuum in the society. We can see the kind of husbands and fathers we are having. Because when these boys don't get answers to their questions, when these boys don't get the attention they want, and the ability to be led by someone, they go into marriage also feeling that I'm not supposed to answer questions. I'm not supposed to show empathy. I'm not supposed to show love and attention. Because they never got it. They don't understand what it means for them to show it. And that's why our wives and women are struggling. Because what is wrong with my husband? Why is he not talking? Why is he not showing affection? Why is he not answering questions? Why is he not crying or showing emotion when things that are deep are going on? Because it was never shown how men do it. It was only shown to be macho, not to cry, to be full of himself. And he grows up to become that. We are losing our families because boys are not learning what it means to be a real man. Look at the rate of divorce. Just in Nigeria, just in Abuja alone, we had during January to March, that we had over 2,000 cases filed just in 3 months. Because we're losing it. In leadership, we are losing it. Somebody who asks, why do we have leaders that are not empathic? They are not showing compassion, that are not showing love, that are not showing attention and affection to their people because they've never learned what it means to show affection. They cannot give out what they've not been taught. Boys are product of their upbringing. Whatever you've taught them is what they will become. And whatever you've not taught them, they can't become it. We are losing family values. We are losing great men to the streets because we are not getting in touch with our boys. And before I go to what we need to do as fathers, there are so many things calling for the attention of our boys, especially Generation Z in this time. The internet and social media is there. There's so many clout chasing and celebrity lifestyle. They can't understand why people who don't have values are making it and you are telling me to read. Why people who don't have values are trending and you are telling me to be focused. Why people who are smoking publicly online and show their nakedness are the one having millions of followers and you are telling me to be decent. They don't understand what is going on. There's a lot of confusion in their mind. They don't understand their sexuality. Where they're having over 100 and today I heard that they have over 100 and something different kind of genders in the world. And sexualities of different kind. They don't understand what is going on, why they're feeling the way they do. There's no sex education, why they're having erection, why they're having wet dreams. So I met a boy of 18 who is asking why he's having wet dreams. He doesn't understand what that means. There's no conversation. He doesn't understand. When we're asking him to keep, going to church, do this, be baptized, nobody's asking them questions. We're just telling them to go without a proper understanding of what they're doing. And that's why they just go in your presence. And when they are gone to school, some of them never attend fellowship or churches because they've not come to fully grasp who God is personally and who will guide them into that. The Father, by connecting, by pouring his life to them. We're losing our voice. And the implication for the future is devastating. If we're here at this time, what will happen tomorrow? Will our women still see men to marry? Will our own daughters even still see husbands to marry? Who will be the future of leadership of the home if we're having this number of broken homes at this time? There's a lot we need to do in saving our boys. They're having issues with doctrines. They don't understand what is going on. They're having issues with trends, the fashion, the music that is going on. All they are hearing is dirty, erotic, very terrible music. To shake something, to touch something, to do something, to hit something. That's all they keep hearing. And yet, the voices that they are hearing are louder than the voices they are hearing at home. And those voices resonate with them. What are we doing to guide them? They can't understand the crisis going on in the home. There's lots of confusion. I'll share 2 examples and I'll go to areas we need to do. What we need to do to foster relationship. 2 years ago, I was in a conference for boys. And I was talking. Something happened that was very shocking. A boy in the audience said, I feel like killing my father. I hate him. I don't like to see him. I detest seeing him. My worst moments are when he comes home. And I've seen a lot of boys share the trauma of sighting their father. They can't talk when dad is around. They're on their own. I've seen women cry because of the torture from the man. A few years ago, I handled the issue of a boy who kept failing his jam and kept failing and failing and failing because his father kept telling him, you're a failure. You don't have anything to offer. And that word sank into him, and all he could do in life was to face. Say, let me just show him that I'm a failure since he told me that. Somebody may ask, why will he take what he said so serious? That's to show you how boys value the words of their father so dearly. No matter how terrible a father is, he's one person that the son takes everything he says to heart. And that's why we must be careful of what we say to our boys. And he kept moving around the cycle until today he has not recovered from the pain of that distance, of that disconnection. I've seen One thing that happened during the pandemic is to handle cases of boys in pornography. 8 years, 9 years, 10 years old. And each time I speak to one of the parents of this boy, I say, where is the father? There's no conversation. No conversation about sex, about purity, about emotions, about feelings, about hygiene, about relationship, about trend, about puberty. Sometimes I hear, I don't know how to tell my son about it. Really? Some fathers say, some mothers say, my husband don't know how to talk about it. No, he's shy talking about it. And I ask, please, for a minute, what are we shy talking about? Is he shy about calling pennies? Or shy about calling sperm? Or shy about calling feelings and emotion or crushes? What exactly are we shy about? Or shy about mentioning vagina, if it's age appropriate? Or shy about mentioning homosexuality? Or shy about mentioning masturbation? And I ask myself, what exactly are they shy of talking about? And because we're not teaching them, the internet is teaching them, and it's teaching them in a terrible way. As I have thousands of our boys indulging in all manner of sexually perverse behavior. Keep handling cases upon cases because there's a disconnect. And somebody may not ask, how do I foster this relationship with my son? How do we foster father and son relationship? And I'll share a few examples. The first thing I want to talk about tonight, I don't even want to go to statistics because a lot of people that have spoken on this one have talked about a lot about statistics, how adolescent boys without father figures are more likely to engage in delinquency behavior and all of that. It's proven statistics. I'm sure you've heard a lot of that in that conversation. So I chose not even to go statistically, but just to talk practically what we will do. And I'll be sharing with you practical ways on which we can connect with our son. So first of all, if we want to connect with our sons, first thing I tell fathers is to dismantle limiting beliefs. And each time I have opportunity to talk to fathers or parents about boys, I say, that mindset you have, they've told you about boys from your village, kill it. Because you cannot connect with somebody you have not seen anything good with. You cannot connect when you're fighting the wrong enemy in the child. And some parents that tell me, they say I have boys, so I should prepare for war. That boys are war, boys are violent. I heard that by the time they are 13, they are full of fire. He's fighting, they'll be raising shoulder. So I'm prepared, Gidiba, to show them that I'm the man. Once you have the mindset that is war, be ready to see war. How can God give you a child and give you to war with the child? What is God saying about the child he has given you? It's a precious seed. You have found favor from the Lord. Why should you call that child war, trouble? And so I see a lot of parents of boys, they told me that it's fire, boys are fire, or they are useless. They told me that boys are very scattered and dirty, that they are very stubborn and heady. After seeing it in him, but I will show him that Makakino be leather. I will show him that man I be. I will show him that. So when you have those mindsets, that is when you consciously begin to act as a monster. But when you begin to see your boy, this boy is created in the image of God. He's wonderfully and fearfully made. He's a responsible child. Whatever you begin to confess or believe is what you see in your child. If you begin to believe violence, even when the boy is quiet, you read every meaning to violence to it. Because whatever you meditate on is what you see in your child. Whatever you believe is what you see in your child. And what happens is that even when that boy is not showing it, because that's what you have believed, so every action looks like it. What do you think about your boys? And I say, Father, no. Yes, God has given boys energy, a high dose of testosterone. And I'm so glad that guys have testosterone. It's power, it's energy, and it's beautiful, it's wonderful. I love it because it's strength to do great things, strength to protect, strength to stand and fight with the enemies at the gates. That's what is strength. I believe in that. And so why not look for positive way to unleash that energy instead of seeing that energy as a forceful attack for war? Dismantle the limiting belief. Whatever people have said about boys, whatever people have said about men, no, if you believe it, that's what you will see. And the second point I want to talk about, which I'll dwell on the second and the third point, and it's something we have seen with fathers. Sincerely, for us as men, we must open ourselves to learning. We must open ourselves to what challenge we are seeing with men. We must open ourselves to learning. We must evolve in learning. And I keep telling fathers, it's not the same way it was done. Times have changed. As a father, I have several books on raising children. I have several books on raising boys. I have books on parenting. I have books that guide me in the family life. Open to learning, belong to several platforms where fathers are learning. But we have seen a challenge where fathers, we feel we know, but actually we don't know. And that's why a man will be sick and dying. And instead of him to ask, say, I know what to do, he just to take this thing. And he's dying until he's in intensive care units before he will submit himself. How can one be sick and go before a doctor and still be saying he's okay? We need to open our minds to learning as men. And that's the issue I've seen in several platforms. And I'm pleading. Several times when you train the boys, they say, what about our fathers? What will you tell our fathers? Will you tell them how we feel? Will you help them to understand what is going on in our mind? Will you also tell them to stop using these words? I've seen boys cry and break down. I hate my father. He's the worst person I've seen in my life. My father is a lion. My father is a beast. My father is a monster. Who told you cannot have a loving relationship with your son? You must be open to learning. Read books on boys. At the TIP inner circle, we are really bringing up boys, learning about boys, how their development start stages. And in fact, one of the sessions we had, I said, by the time you know some things, there's no need to quarrel or fight. Sometimes we are fighting over things that God has made natural in the life of boys. We are fighting why they have so many energy. Why they are not the ones that gave themselves energy. God gave it to them. We are asking why they have so many these things. Why is God that gave it to them? It's just to help them channel it. And that understanding gives you likes. You need to know that, oh, is that why he's acting this way? Oh, is that why he's this curious? Or is that why he's always going out? Or is that why he always likes football? In fact, it's as detailed as helping you know why boys like football, why boys like this kind of games. When you open yourself to learning and understanding, and I'll recommend that book, and our book will be out in 2 weeks, The Journey into Manhood, by the grace of God. Our boys begin to understand themselves, and even parents have a space to understand why boys are behaving the way they do. I tell parents, if you understand boys, if you read, if you open your mind to learning, I see some place trainings I even go to, I see the fathers come there, sometimes they veil. What does he want to say? Who is he? What does he want to say? Who is this man? How old is he? Some people answer, how old are you? If donkey can teach somebody, then even a child can teach. If God can speak through a donkey, he can speak through anybody. And sometimes our transformations don't even come in big meetings. They're in small meetings like this that you hear something that will bring about the spark. And some fathers will pretend, Shebi wants to stop and let him go and die. He's a useless child. I've disowned him, but you're dying of high blood pressure because you're not connected with your son. You're having sleepless nights. You are depressed, but the man in you will not want you to show it and receive help. I ask myself, what kind of life is that? A life that we are not sincere with our being, with our innermost feeling and desires. As if that dying of high blood pressure because he's disconnected with the son, but he don't want to accept there's an issue. The son is saying no, he's saying no. Nobody wants to lose ground. At the end, you both lose. You will just die before your time. For simple, I'm sorry. For simple, what is happening? For simple, what is going on? For simple, can we take a walk and talk? We need to come down from our high horse. We are children of God. Even God comes down to speak with us. In the cool of the day, he came to talk with Adam and Eve. Let's come down. Even God comes to our level to help us understand things as his children. No matter the height we have gotten to, we are still children of God. God wants us to be children, but not to be childish. It is childishness to hold your pride and not allow you to release compassion to your side. Boys, childlikeness that God wants us to be like a child, to say, even though you have done this, son, I'm sorry. Let's open our minds to learning. Let's open our minds to reading, to evolving, to know that we're in a different society. In your time, did you have celebrities dancing naked on social media? Do you have 100 and something gender? Do you have LGBT killing everybody? Do you have every advert, whether it's soap, there's a naked woman. Whether it's kettle advertising, there's a naked woman. Whether it's machine advertising, there's a naked woman. Whether it's a chair, there's a naked. What is the correlation between a chair and a woman's body? That is the kind of word. That is the word they see every day. Musicians who just come and show nakedness. People who are just, with deviant behaviors, making millions. It's a difficult time. Let's read books. I said, Father, after this conference, go and look for book on boys. Search, Google it. Books on boys. Books on parenting boys. Download it and begin to read. Knowledge brings power and light. Thirdly, have creative and constructive communication. And I will dwell on this. It's not enough to be present at home. Some people are present, but they are not connecting. Some fathers are even stay at home, but the son that is at home with them is as if the father is in London from Nigeria. But there are some fathers that may be in London, and the connection they will have with their son is as if they are there with them. So beyond the distance, beyond the location, it's not just about being at home, it's about connecting. And you do that by having creative and constructive communication. Communications on sex, communications of puberty, conversations on relationship, on social media, on peer pressure, on spirituality. You're asking questions. And I want to show a practical example. Some fathers want to talk to their children about sex, rape, and you come to your child. Emeka, did you hear that John raped one woman? If you go and rape, that's how you die, yo. Don't be useless like him. He's a stupid boy. Don't be stupid too. You have to change, yo. See that conversation? It does not change anybody. And come out from here. That's not a constructive conversation. And secondly, that you want to be constructive doesn't mean it to be corny. Some people say they want to have constructive conversation with their son. Before you even ask your son, he knows what you want to talk about. So you are constructive, you are creative, but you are not corny, you are not slimy. Say, you didn't hear that they raped somebody there? Some people say, they say they raped somebody, did you hear? What do you think now? Stop rape. You are acting as if you don't know that he knows. Constructive conversations, when you have such scenarios, coming to say, son, wow, I heard there was a rape issue between John or Mr. Labaja and somebody. Wow, and that boy is a good boy, yo. What now happened? Son, I know it's not easy in this time. In fact, sometimes I feel for you people. The pressure all that people are exposed to. How are you even coping? Kai, I know you can stand through. I know the pressure is high, but you can pull through. How are you coping? Hope you are managing your emotions. You're sure? When those urges come, because I know they come, even at my time too, the urges came, but I was able to speak and get the right counsel. How are you also coping with the urges? Fine. Okay, it has not come, but sometimes you may have strong erection and urges. You may even feel like having sex. Talk to me about it. Let's hang out and talk about it, because it's a difficult time and I want you to stand. That's constructive. You are relating. What you're saying to the boy, he's resonating with it. He can relate. You have put yourself in that scenario, that you have been there. That you also went through those struggles. And the boy can comfortably talk to you and say, when it's also, because he knew that my father has gone through it, and he's accepting the father has gone through it, and he can come and talk to you. Constructive and creative communications. It's not you can't come and sit down here today. Today that me and you go talk. Let's talk today. It's daddy and son talking day. Oh yeah. The boy was talking and said, okay. Do you have any problem? No. Anything? No. Anyone? No. No. I'm fine. Boom. See, some of those conversations is not even arranged. You don't need to wait for an arranged time. Some of them are in some just key moments. You're washing the car in the morning. So, oh, let me join you wash the car today. As you're washing, conversation starts. And sometimes you want to talk about sex. You're starting with football. Sometimes you want to talk about emotion. You're starting with something that happened here today. The rain that fell somewhere. Sometimes you want to talk about this. You're bringing a different scenario to come in. You need that entrance conversation opening to enter into the conversation. So I want to talk about sex. You may start from football and then dive into it. You may start from something else, a trendy issue. Oh, did you hear about that challenge that's going on? The something blah blah challenge. Oh, have you watched it? Wow, Kai, that is serious. So, do you see the way girls are twerking in that thing? Have you seen it? Kai, that is serious. Sometimes I feel, what if it's my daughter? How will I feel? Son, what if it's your daughter? How will you feel? Will you want your daughter to be in such? You know, Kai, that is not good. Kai, but it's not easy. How boy is even coping? How are you coping? Oh, so that means if your daughter can be in it, I'm sure it's not also what you want another person's daughter to be. I'm sure you don't want. Yes, when you bring conversation, you speak to his emotion and his heart. And he puts himself in that situation and say, no, my daughter shouldn't be in this. My sister shouldn't be in this. So I should not put another person's daughter or sister in that same scenario. Wisdom. Some of those conversations are just little ways. Constructive, creative. No one planned time. Oh, one family meeting conversation. Oh, some people, fathers, they join devotion. They have to fire. The word of God is entering here, it's coming out through here. That child is just ready to go to school. You are blabbing. Constructive. You are not talking. Are you talking about? Have you started talking about a lot of boys that I've seen don't even know anything about puberty, about sex, about their emotion, about their feelings, about relationship, dating, emotions, feelings, about to peer pressure, getting a lot of pressure to go into drugs, courtism. No conversations on that at all. But when the boy goes into it, they are calling fire and brimstone and calling the village people. There was no conversation. So he only did what he thought he knew because you have not guided him the right way. And the third thing I want to come back is to be empathic. Fathers need to learn to listen and discipline in love. They don't need to be too forward as fathers. Before you don't shut up. The lion of the tribe of the house, when you come, everybody goes into hiding. Don't you long for a home that you are coming in and your son is coming to hug you and say, Daddy, welcome. Daddy, I've been longing to see you. You yourself, I even ask for that. Do you feel cool that you are coming and everybody is hiding? Are you in an animal? Are you in animal kingdom? Shouldn't you ask yourself, why is everybody running? Why is everybody not excited? Why is my coming back not exciting? We should ask ourselves questions. Are you listening? Are you disciplining in love? Have you connected with that child before you discipline? Have you told that boy? Have you trained him on what you are disciplining? You say, you should know. No. You shouldn't know. How will he know what is not taught? Don't you know? You should know. You should know. They broke my head. I need to break your own so that you'll be well. You are not well. You are not the son of your father. I will kill you. Some fathers even tell their sons they will kill them. I've had a case about a father who threw the child out of the house because he caught the child with pornography. You sent your child out of the house because of pornography. You sent the boy out of the house because a girl came to knock and to ask of the boy. And you say, go and live with the girl. So maybe you will follow him to school and be living with him in the hostel. Simple things that we can talk about in a very simple conversation creatively and matter said it amicably. We blow it until sometimes the father and son rivalry becomes so intense that's even leading to life-threatening situations. It doesn't want it. Listen, discipline in love. Help the child with homework. Help him with projects. Ask him what is going on. What is happening in your school? The next thing I want to talk about, which is number 4, is to set good examples. I've seen boys who say, my father said I should read. My father said I should do this. But I've never seen my father reading. Why are you not reading? When I was my time, we used to burn the midnight candle. We need to do, but your son has never seen you burning the midnight candle. Abi, it's only in school they burn midnight candle. So he doesn't understand why you're asking him to wake up in the night and read when he has not seen you do it. He doesn't understand why you're asking him to always sit when you don't even have a book you are reading. He doesn't understand why you're asking him to show respect when you have not even shown respect to his mother. He can't relate. He can't relate by asking him to show, to be respectful and obedient when you have not even been respectful to the mother that bore him. He can't relate. He doesn't understand why you're asking him to keep good friends and not bad friends when he hears the conversation you have with your own friends. He doesn't understand why you tell him to come back early when you yourself come back at midnight without any communication. He can't relate. Whatever you want to see in your boys, you have to act it out. He doesn't understand why you ask him to be domesticated, why he has never seen you even help his mother in the kitchen to cut onions. He doesn't understand. He can't relate. 2 more points. Next, develop shared interests. Develop shared interests. And that's an area I've seen with father. They say, I don't know what to talk with my boys. I don't know what to do with them. We don't have anything in common that we do. We don't have anything. There must be something that you both like. There must be something that you share in common. You may not share things in common in sports. What about cooking? You may not share things in common in cooking. What about music? What about outdoor activity? What about a game? What about there's just something you share in common? Thing you share in common and begin to have shared interests. So develop shared interest because it's in those things you do in common as you begin to do it that moments for conversations, bonding, connecting will come. There's no connection where there are no activities that fuel such connection. It's as we begin to do activities that model connection, that is when connection begins to take place. So develop shared interest. There must be something that you love that your son also loves. And even when there are areas where there are no shared interests, it can be like a debate, a constructive debate. If you like Chelsea and your son love Man U, why not? It's a time to have constructive debate. You say, yes, I'm here to oppose the motion that Chelsea is not the best. I'm here to support the motion. And you're doing it and you're laughing, not to shout. You love egusi, your son doesn't like egusi, doesn't like swallow. Why not use it as a constructive debate? I'm here to support the motion that egusi and eba makes men stronger than indomie and egg. And first, I'm here to support it. And you bring your point in a happy way. You can even win the debate and help that child to begin to. You will not eat eba. You're not a man. You're useless. You're a woman. It's women that eat indomie. Which Bible and which book says that? Simple things, very simple things that will build connection. Even when you don't agree, there's a way you can talk about it. You love Molo and he likes old school. There's nothing wrong with old school. Even some of us that are fathers, bad old school then. So fathers, some of us forget the life we lived though. How we were liking girls too, writing letters. How we were wearing baggy and fella trouser. How we were wearing those bugu, the up tight and down big. We forgot our own trend. Because you know how bad hair you can't keep punk. Doesn't mean you didn't bad punk then. We forgot that we also had our own issue. When you remember where you're coming from, you're able to appreciate where your son is. Always look at your side mirror too and see where you're coming from. Always look at your rear mirror to see where you're coming from too. So some of these things are just conversation that you can talk over, in joke, and you're laughing and you're communicating value. Influence is not by shouting. Nobody has influenced anybody by screaming and shouting. You only build fear into people. And they see you as Lord and Master, but they've not seen you as a friend. And lastly, I would say, love is murder. Love is murder. And I want to close with this. Love is murder. And several boys are looking to see how you will relate with his mother. And I want to state this clearly in this meeting that Your daughter is not your second wife. And I always say to mothers, your son is not your second husband. Your son is your son. Your daughter is your daughter. I've seen where rivalry exists in fathers because there's a connection between the mother and the son, and then the father and the daughter. So it's like two camps in the house. The girl is on my side, the boy is on her side. Everything the girl does is correct, everything the boy does is wrong. How will you allow the blessing that God has given you to ruin your home? This is just a psychology as people begin to grow. Most mothers will now begin to channel that love they have for their husband to their son. They begin to see them as that friend because they begin to see their husband in that their son. It's just a psychology. It's as if it's the younger version of my husband. So there's this connection, there's this attachment. The same thing happened to the fathers. Seeing their daughters as if the younger version of that my wife when she was beautiful. So this connection begins to build about the fathers and the daughters and the sons and the mother. And instead of people to handle it in a healthy way, they are like to escalate into deep family problem. The father is united with the daughter and the mother united with the son. So everything the son does is wrong. Your son is not your wife's second husband. Your daughter is not your munyedi. It's not your second wife. She's your daughter. Don't allow the love you have for your daughter disrupt the connection you have with your son. Your son is your son. I tell mothers, your daughter is your daughter. Your son is not your husband. Your daughter is not your wife. Never place your daughter in the place of your wife, and never place your son, mothers, in the place of your husband. Everybody has their space. If you don't respect it and build it, you have issues that you can't recover from. And as I close, I want to say something I said about empathy, and that is affirming your sons. I was in a program, in an Instagram live program, and a boy asked, why do fathers not tell their sons, I love you? And a father in that program said, it's a Western culture. It's not in our place to tell boys, I love you. It's a Western culture. But they brought phone from abroad. Why are we using it? But they brought so many things from abroad. Why are we using that one? Is phone not Western culture? But you can tell, but your wife, another person can tell you, I love you, it will shake your head. But you can't tell that to your son. There's nothing Western about affirming and showing love and attention to your son. Nothing Western. Even God said he loves us with a jealous love. If God can say to us, his sons and daughters, then why we as fathers not tell our sons, I love you? No affirmation. Some boys have never received hug from their father. It's not manly to hug your son. It's not manly to tell your son, I love you. What? Some fathers, until they see that the son have a parallel, they're never satisfied. Go and improve, you can improve. Go and improve. No, well done, good report, excellent, you can do better. No affirmation. How can you build relationship and trust? Our boys need affirmation. Our boys long for attention. Our boys long for the embrace of their father. I'm not saying what, I'm seeing what boys have sat before me and say, I long to speak with my father. I long to sit with my father. I long for a relationship, for a talk, for a father and son talk. I just long, I wish I can talk to my father. I've seen boys weeping. I wish I can talk to my father. I said, no, don't talk to him. Hey, my father will never listen. Before you say one, you said 100. No affirmation. We can't build trust. And as I close, we can't build love. We can't build trust. We can't connect. And we need to. I love to see fathers holding their sons, showing affection, moving, going for jogging, exercise, playing, going for skating, swimming. I long to see fathers. I want to say the fathers, our boys are lacking role models. We are losing it. Our boys are losing it. Nobody's teaching them what it means to be a real man. We're only shouting and flogging, and that does not make a child. What are you saying? Even when people say Jesus, there's a role model. Jesus loved his disciples. They could lean on his shoulders. Can your son lean on your shoulder? Jesus took his disciples fishing, and they roasted fish even in the river. Have you taken your son to go and fish, or even to eat roasted fish? If Jesus is our role model, why are you not taking the fish and the leaning part? Why is it only the scripture part we are taking? Jesus even wept. Why are we not taking the whole of Jesus? I'm closing. Our boys are missing it. Our boys are on the streets, and I'm using this conference to appeal to fathers. Let's bring our sons back home. Let's bring our sons back home to the place of making, to the place of transformation, to the place of molding. Let's bring our sons back home. We are losing leadership. We are losing families. Let's bring them to our embrace. I tell people, boys are one of the most loving people in the world. If you understand them, you will flow. You will thrive. It's beautiful relating with boys. If you understand them. They are not difficult. In fact, they open up more to you once there's connection. Because for them, there's nothing to hide. Once you can give them that leverage and that opening to pour their minds. They are not corny like this. They pour it. Wow. I want to say again as I close, let's bring our sons back home. The prison is not a place for our sons. The Lord did not bring them to this world to be in prisons or juvenile home. The Lord did not bring them to be in rehabilitation home. The Lord did not bring them to be cultists or fraudsters. The Lord did not bring them to be drug addicts. He has created them in his image, and man over after his heart. God has created them to be the light of the world. People that will bring about transformation and change. He has created them to break limits, to make global impact. Why are they in prison? Why are global impact changers in prisons? Why are they dying of high blood pressure? Why? Let's bring our sons back home. Some of us need to go back after this meeting and embrace your son and say, I'm sorry, son. I say, I'm sorry. I say, let's talk. And take him out to go and just take a walk, to go and buy something, just to go and talk. You need to go back. And I pray to fathers as I close. The Bible says in Malachi 6 verse something or 4:6, he said, and I will restore the fathers to their son, lest I destroy the land with a curse. And we are seeing the destruction in our land because the fathers have not been restored to their sons. And in this end time, it's a divine agenda of the enemy to ruin fathers, to disconnect them from their sons, because he knows that when that is done, the family institution is taken. When the sons are taken away, then the families are taken away, because there will be husbands and leaders. It's an agenda to ruin the family and ruin the nation. Open your eyes and see the evil that is beholding us. As I close, from the time of Jesus, we have seen it kill the male child to Moses. We have seen it kill every male child. And in this time, Herod is still looking for male children to kill. Let us be that fathers that are wise, like the mother of Moses, who can preserve this child and say, no, I will not allow you to be taken by the Satan. Let's bring them back. Let's prevent them from Herod that are killing them. Let's prevent them from Herod. It was the same Herod that was looking for Moses, the same Herod that was looking for Jesus. Herods are still looking for boys to kill, and he's taking them in court in deep issues. Let's be like Jochebed. Say, no, like Esther, if I perish, I perish. These children will not be lost. Let's be like midwives. Those midwives who protected those children, who say, Herod cannot have my child. And for every boy that God has given me, I say, Herod, you can't have him. I'm a spiritual midwife for my generation. Let's be spiritual midwives as fathers. Satan, you can't have my son. Protect them from Herods that are ravaging them through different means. We are losing our world and our families. If our boys are gone, the families are finished. Open your eyes and see what is happening. When you see, you can fight. Because you cannot fight a battle you are not aware of. And you cannot win a battle you are not prepared for. I see fathers rising from this meeting and say, I'm a midwife. These children will not be lost. This hell cannot take him. These children will not be lost. Fathers are rising and say, enough of the friction with my son. I'm going back to connect. I'm going back to relate. I'm going back to close the gap. I can't let you go to the streets. I'm going back to close that vacuum. Curtis cannot fill it for me. Look at that film, Nimbe. How that boy with a bright future. If you're a father, if you don't watch Nimbe, go and watch Nimbe. Bright future, intelligent, very bright, because the father was so hostile. No love, no attention, no help, no guide. He lost it from a brilliant and a bright boy to a killer, to a drug addict, and ended up in prison. And the father who never had time, now had time when he was in prison with drug addicts. If you don't spend the time to meet these emotional needs, you will spend your life trying to help them heal from the behavioral issue. If you don't spend the time to take them now, you will spend more time when they are in drugs. And I've seen fathers spend billions of naira in rehabilitation home, but nothing changes. He's still a drug addict. I've seen boys that have gone from one university to other. They are losing it because they are disconnected. You will spend money you don't want to spend that time. You will spend it when you become a drug addict. You will be at home by fire, by force. You will collect. That time you'll be crying with him in the prison, but that's not your portion. Let's not wait because it becomes too bad. Let's rise up and say enough. Enough of women crying for fathers. Enough of boys and daughters crying for fathers. Let's wake up. Ask yourself, I'm a monster. Why are people crying over me? Why are people not happy? Even God, people were happy. Jesus, people were happy when they come. Except you're a sinner and you're consuming fire. God has made us priest and king. You're a priest who bring life and joy. Who bring, the Bible says God has made us as saviors of the body. You're a savior and not a destroyer. Let's stop destroying our homes. Let's make our home a safe haven for emotion. Because boys thrive in the environment of love. I wish I can pour my heart to fathers. I wish I can lay my heart to fathers. I've lived with boys, hundreds of boys. Peaceful people where you understand them. Very peaceful. Just connection and you correct. May the Lord cause us to arise from this conference and may relationships be restored. I will stop here because my time is fast spent. Let me see if I can take one or two questions before we go. Thank you very much.
Amen. Amen. Amen to that amazing prayer. Yes, I heard someone say there's so much fire in the building. That is what Ebuka travels with. Ebuka travels with the fire. You know that scripture you mentioned, restoring the heart of sons to the fathers and heart of fathers to the sons. Something goes wrong whenever there is a problem with the father-son relationship. Something goes wrong. It's a cause, and it just happens like that. Thank you so much, Ebuka. Thank you. I'm still checking if we have one or two questions that we can take before we go. I want you, sir, to speak to the heart of sons. So there's a son or someone listening to this plate, and they've had a very toxic relationship with their fathers. How can a son begin to take the first step? You know, it might come both ways. It's that the father is not listening, but the son is listening, and then he wants to take a step towards mending that relationship. Talk to us about that, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I've always told sons, you know, it's always easier to get sons to attend programs and listen, but sometimes you don't get fathers. And I always tell the boys, take responsibility. Take responsibility. Because at the end, you're going to be impacted one way or the other. Like the story I shared about this boy, he's still struggling. Though the father is having his own share of life, but he's still stagnated in life. And I tell them there are some fathers who have not really felt well, but some boys have decided to take the bull by the horn and say, I will succeed despite what I'm hearing, irrespective of the challenge or the trauma or the issues. So your father may not be able to listen, but you can be the one that will shift ground. When two elephants fight, the grass that will suffer. Because at the end of the day, you stagnate yourself, you stagnate your life, you stagnate your academics, you go into behavioral issues, you're the one that will take the drugs, you're the one that will be killing your system and your organs, you're the one that will still suffer. So take responsibility and say that no matter the stones I'm receiving, let me use that as a stepping stone instead of allowing it to hit me and destroy me.
mm,
So I tell to boys, take responsibility. You can be the
mm,
one showing that compassion. You can be the one saying, no matter what I hear, I'm still going to thrive and put through. Because even beyond your father in society, you see people that will show you that kind of behavior and that kind of attack. Will you
mm,
leave your job because of that? Will you leave your school because you have a wicked lecturer? Or you not say, let me fail because of my lecturer? No, you will still decide to thrive and put through it. To take responsibility and move on with your life. Because if this man die, you are still left and you become a non-entity because of your father in the grave. Why not pick up and move life? People are going through the same issue and they still decided to be strong.
mm,
Open your mind to learning. Go to mentoring session, get a coach, build capacity and move. You will still see more issues, even in the family, in the society. Don't die because of your father. Don't lose it because of your father. Don't make a mess of your life because of your father. You still have a life to live. You have a career to you have a family. You have a destiny waiting for you. You have a generation in your loins. It's not just about you. If you lose it, millions of people will lose it. So I tell you, boys, build capacity, build shock absorber, and move. Thank you.
mm, mm. Very, very great point there. You know why I asked that question is because
Mm.
the issue about forgiveness and then moving forward.
Mm.
Because I
Move
tell
forward.
young men, no matter how much you get angry with your father, if you're not careful, you're going to repeat the mistakes of your father.
Very true.
You know, you can get angry, but if you don't deal with it, I know a son, for instance. I met this guy when he was in 100 level, and he's afraid of going back home because his father told him, if you get anything less than 70%, don't come back home. And no, his father told him, if you get anything less than 90, don't come back home.
90.
And he made a 70 and he was scared to go
And he
back
didn't
home.
go. Oh my God. Oh my God.
So
Oh my
this
God.
this issue about putting performance, and our last speaker, Andre Holmes, was talking about grace. The issue about putting performance ahead of relationship. And even when you were talking about Jesus Christ, I think he puts grace, even though he expects us to live. It is the
Mm-hmm.
grace that helps
Mm-hmm.
us to now
Mm-hmm.
begin to want to live up to that
Mm-hmm. Very
expectation.
true.
Thank you so much,
Very
sir.
true.
Thank you for this
And I
session.
like what you said
Thank you.
about the sons repeating that same mistake, and I've seen it trending in boys. I keep telling you, this thing you're complaining about your father. If you don't heal, you will become
Mm,
worse. So you
mm,
need to heal. You need to heal.
mm,
You need to unlearn. Because unconsciously, my father is shouting. My father is unconscious. That's what you are seeing, and that's what is
mm,
assimilating. That's what you are receiving on the inside of you. That is how a man should be. So if you don't heal and dismantle that mindset, you will also grow up to do the same. Because unconsciously, because I tell you, what you behold is what you become. As you keep beholding him and hearing him, you unconsciously become him to your children. So you need to heal. You need to move. You need to build capacity. You need to break that circle, break that vicious circle, and you have the responsibility to come out of it. Thank you.
All right, sir. I see a question here to talk about books
Okay.
and platform recommendations. I know you have a book that is coming up. Maybe you want to
Yep.
tell us about that, and any other recommendations that you have for men and boys on this broadcast tonight.
Okay, we have a platform called Men Connect Mentoring Community on Facebook. If you search Men Connect Mentoring Community, you can join that platform. There are a lot of books for boys, bringing up boys. Once you just Google books on parenting boys, buy hard copies. Google and you will see it. Or you search on Facebook or Instagram, fathers, just add men group. You will see some groups pop up. Check their content. If you are cool with it, go. Or start programs. When you go to Instagram, look for hashtag fathers, or men. You see programs of men and fathers that you can listen free, and you are building capacity. Understand? So
Mm,
I also have a book that will be launched in 2 weeks' time, The Journey into Manhood, a guide for boys. And it's a book for boys. I've made it not too bulky, very simple, pocket size, loaded with fire and inspiration for boys. And to be out in 2 weeks, just 1,000 naira, and we'll have a, a target to reach 5,000 boys, because a lot of boys don't even have access to this. And what we keep saying, some of us are even from good homes or from homes that are well to do. We still mix up with these boys on the streets, and they corrupt and lead our sons astray. So beyond helping this, we also have target to reach other boys. So we want to raise 5,000 copies, support for 5,000 copies to distribute to these boys. So that's how we're equipping these ones, we're equipping on the other side, and we're having a balance. So that book will help your boys, and also have a part where parents of boys can also learn something about boys. So follow us on our social media handles at Save the Boys Initiative on Instagram, Ebuka_boys coach, on Facebook, Ebuka Obika, and to get details on how to get this book or our programs. We do a lot of program for parents of boys and fathers that will also help in what you do. And somebody asked, what are there support for fathers in Nigeria? I think I thought I saw something like this. There's a lot going on for fathers and groups, mentoring program, trainings. TIP is doing a lot for fathers now. The fathers conference, there are a lot of fathers in the TIP inner cycle. I'm part of that circle, and I look forward to see many more fathers join next year. I've told Wendy that we need to be having a special group in that circle for fathers, so that we engage them, let them be active. Put one father in charge of their group, let them be active in doing their work, in doing assignments and presentations. We are seeing fathers get involved, and we will know more and more are coming up. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, my coach.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Ebuka. It was when he said, even God spoke through the donkeys. Why do you think that you need to ask questions? Who is that person? Why is this person talking to me? So it means that we're now, even trying to be bigger than God. It struck me. I've never thought of it in that way. I know that, yes, we say everybody must and should learn how to, learn, listen, and all of that. It means that God can speak through anybody. God can use anybody. And it's something that the men need to understand. All right. I've also seen, a lot of cases where, conversations like this go on and they're like, who is that small boy? Like you were saying, I was actually having a good laugh when you were saying it in the background. Or, you go like, I've seen, fathers, right, who their wives have followed the Intentional Parents Academy for a while. And they go like, who is that woman? What is she saying? How old are her children and all of that? And, it's usually very interesting conversation when they come back to me. But interestingly, I found something. The fathers who follow to the end. I know that the fathers who are in the inner circle are tenacious about it, as in they follow with so much fire, and I tell you for free. The fathers. I have a particular father in level 2 who leads his group. In level 2, Engineer Smart. Engineer Smart works offshore. Sometimes he's in the rig and he's live on our Zoom sessions. Sharing. Wow. It's awesome, amazing. And he has grown so much. He's in the inner circle with his wife. He's more active than his wife. His wife is, in fact, sometimes I look at his wife, I'm like, this girl can actually just go and sleep. The husband is just doing everything. But he's so active that the truth of the matter is that the woman is lounging, and I see it in my conversations with her because I get to talk to a lot of the parents personally. When we talk, you see this carefree, this kind, I got this and all of that, and it's so easy for this woman. Men need to wake up. Men need to wake up. We're not saying it because there's a conference put together and all of that. You need to make commitment. Pay for something and be part of it. Of course, they should pay for it. Make commitment. Stop you want to be in the free conference. It's not going to lead you so far. The truth of the matter is that there is a limit to the tips and the hacks that you have gathered in this place. But you need to actually begin to look at your process. If not, we're going to complain about the same thing and make the same mistakes and go through the same process. And I'm also going to share this, about Ebuka. When Ebuka had just come in, I'd shared this before in the inner circle group. And, Ebuka had come to me and said, that he's very busy. He had registered at the beginning of the year. And he said to me that he's very busy in this period, or he doesn't know what to do. What do I advise? I said, okay, maybe your wife could take your slot in the meantime and all of that. He said, okay, he's going to think about it. He came back to me after a few days and he said to me, it's my responsibility. I am a father and I'm ready to take up this role. So, coach, I'm going to thrive through all of this process and be able to, balance through it. So I'm not calling my wife to come and take up my role. I am going to do this program myself. And you know what? That puts me, I was like, wow. And when you see those spouses of the men who are actively participating in parenting, their spouses are lounging. I have been on this conference since yesterday. I've not had to think about, what are we cooking? How's going to fare? How is the house? No. I am able to give this back to you because I have a man who has also decided to be actively involved. That's why we're
Awesome.
here having a TRP conference free of charge, because somebody has actually been able to work with someone who has a vision. Many of your wives have visions they cannot stand up to because you are
Very
not
true.
there,
Very
because
true.
you are not supportive, because you have decided, oh, it's all about me, it doesn't matter what it is that you carry. Meanwhile, your wife could be that person who will change the narrative of the world. Look at what TRP has
Yes.
done. Imagine if I was living with a man who has fulfilled all of these things that God has given me to do. So we need to actually begin to look at this from a different dimension. Apart from
Yes.
just, our ego and all of the things that we've learned and we've been modeled, we need to stand up. My father said to me, there is only a tree that do not move. That's what my
Oh,
father said to me.
it's only
And
a
like
tree that do not move.
every time that you find an uncomfortable situation, you find a place uncomfortable for you, you stand up and you move.
And
You are
you
not a
move.
tree. If it is what has been modeled to you, then you need to stand up and take action. That's the only way we can have, a valid, valid conversation, valid transformation. Because beyond just coming here and listening and just saying, oh, thank you, oh, God bless you, your ministry and all of that, that's not what it is about. This is not about Ebuka's ministry. This is not about anybody's ministry. This is about saving a nation. And in Africa, if we must save a nation, then the men need to stand up.
Oh
The men need to
yes.
stand up, because we need to raise a different crop, of people.
Oh
It is
yes.
obvious that the people we have raised cannot save us. Isn't
They
that
cannot.
obvious enough? They can't save us. Why can't we look at, things differently and begin to do things differently instead of just, sitting back on our halls and, lounging? I don't think that participating or being an involved father reduces your
At
manliness.
all. At
I
all.
don't think it reduces
Doesn't.
your manliness. I don't know how Ebuka transferred the fire that he released in this session to me. I'm trying not to. I'm trying not to carry the fire.
It's a contagious fire and it's catching the fathers. I see the
Well,
fire
well,
spreading.
well
Yes.
done,
Yes.
Ebuka. That
Thank you
was an
so much.
awesome, amazing session.
Thank you.
I
Thank
really
you.
personally enjoyed it. All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm grateful. Awesome time. Great work. Have a blessed night.
All right. Thank you, Chedozie.
All right, Coach
Um,
Ebuka. Yes, I can hear you.
okay. All right, I think
Okay.
Chidoze is having a bit of a network downtime, so he's been, going
Am
back
I,
and forth. Chidoze, can you hear me now?
okay, I can hear you now. I'm back. Yes, my network was a bit
Great.
unstable.
Okay,
So it's been
great.
an amazing time. It's been an amazing time. And you were just talking about your husband, and I'm glad he's going to be joining us tomorrow for to tell us what he knows about fatherhood and being on this journey. All right. I also think that in the last conversation we were having, somebody said the reason why some of these things are not being taken serious because their effect is going to happen way, way, way down the line. I pray that we find the time to actually stop that before it's fast spent. I don't know if we have any final words from Coach Ebuka before we call it a wrap.
All right. Thank you so much for the time. And I say, fathers, it's time to arise and change the narrative. Enough of talking. We must, do the talk. We must do the talk. And I'm saying, fathers, you need to leave this conference and just go and have conversation with your wife, with your children, with your sons. You need to just go and sit down. Come down from the high horse. Come down from that high horse. Just like is it Jacob or Rebecca came down from the high horse, came down, come down. And that is what I just hear in my spirit tonight. Come down from the high horse and listen. Some people say, who is that? Like Coach Wendy say, who is that small boy? Okay, don't worry. By the time you come, when we, I don't want to say what I want to say, but let's listen. God is speaking and He's speaking through everybody and anytime. Come down and let's make that change. I see that fire spreading and I see great testimonies emanating from this conference. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Ebuka. And Chidoze, that was just a blast,
I'm
kind of
telling you.
talk. And someone is putting in the comment section and saying that why is there so much talk castigating the fathers, and all of that.
No, 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 no. This is not
It's
castigation.
no, I guess the person is referring to the conversation that happened on our community, I guess. I know where
Okay.
yeah, where there was a spark in the conversation where people were outraged when we said that the father is needed. The society, the women are getting tired of fathers not taking responsibility. Women
Mm.
got tired a long time ago. So when you now tell them you really need the father, to participate, they're like, to hell with it. I don't really care about it and all of that. I think that's what is really happening, in our system. And it's something that fathers needs to stand up, take charge, so that we can actually have a better system and also have better things. Thank you, Chedozi, for that wonderful moderation.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a great way to close for tonight.
Thank you so much. And if you've been watching us, this is TIP Fathers Conference. This is myself and Chedozie, who is a renowned team mentor, and he's been the one moderating the TIP Fathers Conference since we started yesterday. This conference goes on tomorrow, where we're going to have two power-filled sessions. The first session says, Daddy, where are you? It's going to be anchored by Akin Rokbo. Akinola. Akinola is also someone that I respect so much. He's going to be here. He's been a fatherhood coach for so long in Nigeria. I think he's the foremost fatherhood coach that we have in this country, and he's going to be live here tomorrow talking about that. That will come up at 5, and then we would have the governor, who is my husband. He's going to be talking about the involved father. Who is this involved father? Who is that father? All right. And enough have already been said today. It's been a back-to-back session. Remember that you can get replays of all of the sessions in one with the blueprint of the involved father. We have a new guide called the blueprint, the involved father blueprint. How do you begin to walk this journey as an involved father? And also, you would also get worksheets on all the days. Now, we are not leaving you. We're saying to you, you need to take action. We're saying to you, do not leave here and just feel, oh, they've talked. Oh, I can go back to my normal ways and all of that. No, we want to hold you accountable. We want you to do something. We want you to step out of the uninvolvement to an involvement. All right. And for us to be able to give that to you, we've built worksheets, cheat sheets from this conference that will help you go through all of this. And instead of just pricing it and giving it to you as a word of over 60,000 naira and all of that, we've kept it at 5,000 naira, affordable for everybody. But most importantly, every single one of us need to commit. Every single one father watching here would need to commit to this process. This conference is only going to leave us with tips, hacks here and there. All right, we're going to share the details for you to be able to get this pre-order, this Fathers Conference pack, and then we'll share it on Telegram and emails. And if you want to order that immediately after the conference, we're not going to put that at the same price. All right. One of the words that I want to leave for fathers today is that you need to take responsibility. If we will stop getting bashed, and be listened to, then we need to show that we know better. We need to show that we can do this, the role the way we should actually do it. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. See you again tomorrow at 5 p.m. as we begin to celebrate fathers tomorrow. But trust me, we honor you, we celebrate you. That's why we have put this together. I also want to say thank you to my team. Thank you, Chedozie. I don't think Chedozie, have you slept? Have you slept yet from yesterday? I don't think Chedozie slept in the office, by the way. So it's also I also like to say this at the end of every conference. This conference is not free. Nothing is free. We have paid the price. We have paid the price to be here. We have paid the price to bring people here. We have paid the price to be able to stream this live. There is a cost to it. So what we did was to pay a price for you to be here. So it's not free. Nothing in this life comes free. Someone makes payment somewhere. And never forget, that the Intentional Parents Academy has made, payment for you. The people that have come to actually speak on this platform have made a payment. The people that are moderating, the staff, the team, they've made a sacrifice, a payment for you to be able to access this. Please do not ever say that this conference was actually attended, that it was a free conference. It's actually a paid conference that you were able to access for free. Someone made the payment. One of the reasons why I had said that, Chedoze, did you sleep? That a lot of my team members, in fact, my PA stayed in the office till almost 11 o'clock yesterday. All right. So I need us to also appreciate this, and also get on our social media handles, share about the speakers, share their quotes and rave over them, and also remember to follow them. Thank you so much again for being here. And as we count down to celebrate fathers tomorrow, mothers, do not forget that you would need to also celebrate fathers. It is Father's Day. All right, don't make it all about you. It's Father's Day. Buy a gift, celebrate fathers. We appreciate the sacrifices while saying that there is more work to do. Have a good evening and see you tomorrow. And happy Father's Day in advance.